Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to show you how I recorded a bunch of really good glass shattering sound effects. So to do this, I wanted to actually smash some glass in some way, shape, or form, and I realized that light bulbs would actually be the good source material for me to smash in this case. So what I did was buy a whole bunch of really cheap light bulbs. Don't worry, they weren't CFLs, so I didn't do anything super horrible for the environment or anything like that. Just some regular old light bulbs that I used to smash with a wrench because I realized that I don't own a hammer because I'm not a very handy person, and smash them into like a plastic bucket. That's basically the setup, and I'm going to show you some interspersed video throughout this whole setup so I can show you what I did and what I used and how it all worked together. So basically what I did was use a Rode NT-G2 shotgun microphone hooked up to a Zoom H6 field recorder, which is actually the setup I have for these videos too. I have a Rode NT-G2 right above me and a Zoom H6 recording all the audio as well. So I just had one microphone set up for this dead simple setup, and I held the light bulbs right up to that microphone, basically very closely, and smashed the light bulb with a wrench so that I could get it to shatter. And I just put it right into a neutral sounding plastic bucket, and that was it. That was the entire setup. I smashed a whole bunch of light bulbs and then kind of stirred it all around so I could get some really good, high-pitched, brittle sounding glass sound effects. The reasoning for this is that I actually couldn't find any good glass sound effects that I wanted in any sort of libraries that I had, so I decided to actually go ahead and record my own. I wanted something that was really stereotypical, really high-pitched, and very brittle sounding, so light bulbs were actually the perfect choice. And some of you may be asking, oh, don't you hear a lot of the plastic sound from the tub as you're smashing those light bulbs into them? And yes, you do hear a little, but actually with the setup that I used with this Rode NT-G2 that I'm using, not very much. Actually, you get most of the shattering sort of sound with that sort of setup because a shotgun mic is very direct in what it records. It doesn't get a lot of ambient noise. That is why I used it. It gets a very simple, very straightforward sound. And as you can hear as I intersperse it throughout this video, it actually sounds pretty clean and actually sounds pretty good. One thing I'd recommend for those of you who are going to try this out at home, get some sort of way to protect your eyes and hands as you do this. You can see that I'm actually using welding gloves throughout this because I didn't have anything else to protect my hands with, but it actually worked perfectly before I actually started doing this, and I actually was wearing safety goggles as well. And my friend Jacob, who was helping me record, was wearing safety goggles as well, just so that there was no chance of either of us getting hurt because we are literally smashing a whole bunch of glass bulbs into a plastic tub. So if you do need to get this sort of sound, this sort of high-pitched brittle sound, I highly recommend trying some old light bulbs or things like that, just so you can get that sort of effect. Now I do recommend, if you have a choice, getting microphones that aren't overly sensitive and you record the entire room around you. That's why I use a shotgun mic. That's what I recommend for you. Or you can use some sort of condenser mic that is hypercardioid, or even a dynamic microphone with your settings, your gain turned pretty high to make sure that you get that good shattering effect. Now, as I'm stirring a whole bunch of glass around, it actually sounds pretty good in this tub as well. Just again, using those welding gloves and stirring a whole bunch of glass around to get a good kind of glass Foley effect. And this actually worked out really well. It was dead simple and something that you can actually try at home. Again, be safe and don't sue me if something bad happens to you. But this is a pretty simple thing to do if you do need something kind of brittle and high-pitched, and you can use it for things like glass. You can stretch it out and use it for really strange metallic effects when using time stretching. There's all sorts of stuff you can do with brittle glass-like textures. So if you like this video, again, I appreciate it. Hit subscribe, all the standard YouTube stuff, hit the little bell, stuff that everyone tells you to do for every YouTube channel on the planet, just so you can get notified for whenever I make my next video. And also sign up for my newsletter so you can get an ebook on how to actually work in the game industry. It'll teach you how to actually work in the game industry and get paid for your work in it. So thanks so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video.